Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday morning. It is August 15th, 2022, Monday morning touch point. So good to see everyone here this morning. Kong looking good. Nicholas looking good. Everyone else, good to see everyone here. We're about to let Mike here join us. Monday morning, y'all. Love it. Did y'all have a good weekend? Did y'all have a good weekend? I had a great weekend. Rodeo. Who went to the rodeo? The rodeo was so much fun. I was supposed to go there Saturday also, but my daughter's hockey practice got delayed. So we ended up not leaving hockey practice until pretty late at night. But it was a blast. The Friday night was a blast. And then I know a few people went there Saturday. So it was good. Very good. Love it. Sonia's about to join us. Who else is here? We've got Boya is here. Kathy. Kathy, I met your son. It was so nice meeting your son. So thank you for sending him the tickets. It was very nice meeting him. We've got Eddie. Eric is here. We've got Harold, Jen, Joe, John. Joe was there. So Gail, enjoyed meeting you, Joe. Glad you came to the rodeo with your friend. John D is here. We've got Kimberly, Kong, Christina, Lance, Liz, Mark, Melanie, Mike. We've got two Mikes here. Mike Gonzalez and Mike Bennett, Manira. Oliver Hall, good to have you here. Robert, Charmine. Sonia, how was the rodeo on Saturday? Sonia, was it good?
Yes, I thought I was going to see you there.
I know, it just hurt. So the Chaparral and Crossover, so they've been battling a massive multi-month bankruptcy lawsuit against each other. So they're shutting down the Crossover temporarily, and then they're shifting all of the ice time over to Chaparral at North Cross. So the schedule has been back and forth, and we had a very late practice on Saturday evening, and then another early one on Sunday morning. So unfortunately, we weren't able to go. But you had a good time?
Oh, I had a fantastic time. My friends loved it. They all wanted to meet you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It was very interesting. I had never seen anything like that. My favorite part was the little kids riding on the sheep.
Oh,
I
the
had
mutton
never seen
busting?
that. I don't know what that's called, but that was hilarious. And those kids were incredible. And the bulls, I mean, for me, this is all new. I mean, it's the first time I really seen a rodeo like that. It was fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Christina, you were at the rodeo. Did you have a good time? I bet you Christina had a good time.
I did. The kids riding the sheep was fun. I mean, it was cool. We dressed up in our Western wear to go. My son wore a little pearl snap shirt, so I wore cowgirl boots. It was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I dressed exactly like this because on Friday, we went from the rink straight to the rodeo, like not nonstop. So, well, y'all, I'm excited for our Monday morning touch points. So good to have everyone here. I'll let you know when the next HEB Center event is and what the next HEB Center event is. So really grateful that you all were able to join us there on that one. Let's go ahead and get started. This is Monday morning. We're going to be filling out our new listing to pending ratio. But what are y'all noticing out there, you all? And I did a lot of previewing this weekend. I decided to go out for a few drives, new construction neighborhoods. And I'll say this, I'm a little bit stunned. I'm really shocked. I'll have to send you, next time I go previewing the neighborhood, I'm going to record it because are y'all previewing new construction neighborhoods? Like in just seeing the sheer amount of new construction going on? Sonia, what are your thoughts?
I've been going to new construction because I have clients, right? So I'm looking at different things and I am in shock at what the reps are saying. I had a rep tell me yesterday, make me an offer and I'll bat for you and get whatever your clients want. I'll just talk to management and we'll get this deal. I need to get some deals. He even said in front of the clients, I don't get paid unless you buy a home. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So, and they're dropping, I mean, immediately they say, whatever price you see, don't worry about it. And then he sent me an email in writing saying, this is the offer you can do today. And then he had in red letters at the bottom, he said, I know you want to offer less than this. Give me a number and I will get you the house.
Yeah. And
So
bingo. So there you have it. And that rep, absolutely, that rep realizes if I don't get some sales on the books, I'm out of here. I'm out of a job.
Actually, he's like top on this company. I don't want to get into those details. So it's not like he needs the money, right? It's just his job, and this is what he does, and he wants to continue selling. So nothing is going to happen if he sells one or if he sells 10. He's still okay. He's one of those that's been doing this for long and knows what he's doing. But he's really like, now it's a switch, right? You know, whatever the company says, whatever construction says, to whatever you, the buyer, want. I mean, it's just a 180 switch, which I'm like, and I said, okay, thank you. So I'm waiting for my clients to tell me, you know, there were like 3 different neighborhoods and they're hoping to make a decision, but there's options. There's just lots of options.
Bingo. I love that. I don't know. Is Seth here on the call today? I think Seth is on the call. So Seth, you were telling me just how you were able to get a client. Oh no, Seth is not on the call here today, but Seth was telling me how just absolutely excited that one of his clients is, because his client was able to get under contract on a property that no way he would have been able to buy just even 3 months ago. So there's some absolutely amazing opportunities out there. Mike said, I previewed a few new constructions and noticed some are only offering greater agent incentives for closing this year. Is that a thing? Yeah, absolutely. So they can make the incentive conditional, Mike. And the only reason why they're making the incentive conditional right now is to get these closings stacked up before the end of the year. So they want to report better numbers. The reality is this: there's nothing that indicates that these incentives are going to stop come 2023. Really quite the opposite. In my opinion, as the inventory continues to increase at a pretty substantial rate, especially for new construction, that we're going to see more and more incentives going on into 2023, well into 2023. So right now it's just well, it might not be available next year, so choose plan A versus plan B. And if you were just to choose this one, you don't get the incentive. So don't you want to close before the end of the year? Don't you want to get your homestead exemption maybe a year earlier? Don't you want to go ahead and get the tax write-off for all the interest deduction? That's what's going to happen. All those tactics are going to come back. So we're going to see more and more of that. Is it going to be available next year? I guarantee you it will. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a builder who's at the $400,000 price point, and they said, and I can't say who this builder is because this is said in confidence, but this builder says that we are looking at 30% price differences between next year's product and this year's product. 30%. So you take a $500,000 property, all of a sudden what's sold for $650 is going to sell for $500. What's sold for $500 is going to sell at $350. That's a 30%. That's their target right now, because they simply realize that the demand has absolutely gone down. And this is why we're talking this morning, is to talk about the demand, what's going on with this new listing to pending ratio. First thing I'm going to do is update the open house. 3,837 open house. 3,837. Jen said, wow, is this Austin only or company wide for these builders? Well, it's very much isolated. Well, this is a national company. What they told me was specifically related to Austin. But I'll say this, Jen, this is happening really across the entire country. Only certain markets are being isolated from what's happening right now as far as a price correction is concerned. Only certain markets are isolated. Right now it's happening really across the entire country for that matter. So new construction inventory right now is north of 10 months of inventory on new construction. And we are already noticing, I'll see if I can pull up this graph right here. So Fred, new construction, I'll find that. I'll find this graph
Dan,
that I want to show you. Yes, go for it, Lance.
Does this mean that they're going to start being open to investors buying new construction again?
They already are. So a lot of subdivisions, you take anyone, doesn't matter. Most new construction subdivisions are already open to investor. Yeah, that's already happening. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I've just got a couple of investors, and if I can get them in on some new construction, they don't want things they've got to put a lot of money into ACs and roofs and everything. So new construction sounds very appealing to me, especially if they're offering these incentives for realtors.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no, they are. I mean, a lot of communities right now, it's like, give me anyone. I don't care who it is. Give me a second homeowner. Give me an investor. Just give me a buyer. Give me a contract. No matter what. Give me a contract. So yeah, a lot of them are absolutely doing that. So we've got 3,837 open houses were offered between August 8th and August 15th. Now let's go ahead and update the new listings back on the market, active under contract, pending, and see what's going on there. First thing I'm going to do is actually update the previous few weeks to make sure that the data is completely accurate. I'm going to go residential. We always focus on the 6 county areas of Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Hayes, Caldwell, along with Burnett counties. We're going to go from the 1st to the 8th, and we're going to update pending right now, and that's going to bring us at 402. And take a look at this. I mean, from the 1st until the 8th on residential, 402 pending. That's a pretty good improvement from the previous number that we had. And then let's go a week before. Agents are horrible about updating information, so we always have to update some of the previous weeks. This is going to be 491. Let's keep on going right here. Previous week, 18 through the 25th. This is going to be 463. See how bad agents are with updating the information? There we go, 463. And let's go ahead and update the 11th through the 18th. That's going to give us 474. Wow, a lot of updates right here. And then let's even go from the 4th to the 11th at 443. Okay, so there we have it. So these are the pendings, and now we're going to be updating the actives for this previous week. But before that, Boya over chat said some of them were open to investors in December 2021. The builder knows what's going on. I agree 100% with you, Boya. That's why we noticed the commission, 6% commission. Soon you're going to start noticing 3 and 3, 3% when the contract is executed, or 3% when the slab is poured is usually what happens. 3% when the slab is poured, 3% when the property actually closes. The best deal that I ever saw in my entire history as a realtor was in 2010. D.R. Horton out towards Bastrop was offering 9% commission, 3 on contract execution, 3 on slab pour, 3 at closing. Wouldn't that be amazing? But they were doing that. Don't see that coming back here anytime soon, but they were doing that. So let's take a look at new listings.
Dan, before you jump into the next subject, I want to just share with everyone, if you have already signed a contract with the builder in the last couple of months and the house has been closed, and if you have seen the price has been dropped significantly, with the same builder, you can make an argument. And I did last week. I tried a month. I tried 3 months. Eventually, last week, they said, "Okay, we're gonna get what you want."
That's great. So even though
you may make the argument, whatever it takes.
I love
it took
it.
me 3 months.
So
anyway, and it was huge. I mean, it's not just like a one, or it's not like 10K or 20K. It was huge. But anyway, I don't want to tell who is the builder, because I told them I would keep a secret.
Love it. Well, good job, Boya. Good for you. So this is a client that was under contract, and Boya was able to renegotiate the contract price and get a substantial adjustment on the contract price simply based on what's happening in the neighborhood. So way to go, Boya. That's awesome. Your clients are in good hands. Way to go. And you see, notice what Boya said. It took 3 months, and just do it. Be persistent. Be absolutely persistent. So way to go, Boya. And that, imagine a client that has that happen to them. They're going to tell everyone about the experience they had with Boya. So way to go, Boya. Mike, go for it, please. Share.
Yeah, so the question about the new construction for investors, I've been making sure that every time I call a new construction, I'm asking if they're working with investors. And I ended up previewing some new constructions over in Manor. And there was one builder that I actually couldn't even find on Google that I ended up just finding them by driving by. And they're offering 10% earnest for investors. And that's all you have to put down for investors right now in this. And I'm not sure if anyone's ever heard of this new construction. It's called Richmond American Homes. Have you heard of that, Dan?
I have not.
Yeah, so they're offered some crazy incentives. I think they're offering $12,000 for primary homeowners towards like buying down the rate, or towards closing costs as well.
That is great. That is awesome. That's in Manor, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. That is fantastic. Well, good for you. Good for you. That's good for you, Mike. That's great. So there you have it, you all. So investor specials, builders offering incentives for investors. And that's great. That's great news for us. Great news for not only on the commission side for us, because obviously we're noticing more and more builders offering commission incentives, but it's great for our clients. And if our clients have a long-term look into the market, then this is a great opportunity for our clients. So new listings, let's take a look right here. New listings from the 8th until the 15th. New listings come in at 1,062 listings. The day has not ended, so that number is going to go up a little bit. But so far today, we're looking at 1,062 new listings. Let's take a look at price increase. We are looking at 122 price increases. Now, let me go ahead and give you the price drop number. We're looking at 1,662 price drops. That's a 93% ratio. That's slightly higher than the week before. When we take a look at everything that went up in price as opposed to going down in price, we now went back to the 93% ratio. The week before came in at 92%. So we're up just a tad, 1 basis point right there. Let's take a look at back on the market. We're looking at 222 back on the market. That's 21%, slightly lower than the week before. Now let's go into the active under contract. 532 active under contract. Now this is your guess. What do you think? Pending. Last week, 402 pending. The week before that, 491, 463, 474, 443, 483, 487. Melanie Price came in at 358. What else? Let's get some guesses right here. Melanie Price came in at 358. And by the way, you all, let's say hi to Rob. Rob is here as a guest. Thank you for joining us right here, Rob, checking Team Price out. Thank you, Mike, for connecting Rob with Team Price. So good to have you here, Rob, and I'll explain a little bit about what these numbers mean, but really excited to have you here on the team meeting. But we've got three. Yeah, thank you so much. Super appreciate you being here. We've got 288, Charmine. We've got 375, Kimberly, 388. Let's get a few more guesses. I got 3 more guesses, and then I'm going to give you the actual number. 3 more guesses. 3 more. We've got okay, we've got 268. We've got 317. We've got 325. No one was able to guess. The person who's closest is actually Seth is going to be the closest one. Seth said 266. The number starts with a 2, then it goes into a 4, and then it goes into a 8. 248, you all. 248. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? 248 pending. Let's take a look at the comparison previous week to this week, and we can see that compared to 2021 versus 2022, let's first focus on the previous week. We can see that we had 1 less new listing in 2022 compared to 2021 for the same week. We had 6 less price increases. We had a staggering 1,348 additional price drops compared to 2021. But this is right here the number that we need to focus on. Only for that week, we had 525 less properties go pending. Same week last year compared to this year, 525 less properties go pending. So you notice that the increase in inventory is not driven, at least last week, because we've got a huge number of new listings. We actually don't. We had 1 less new listing this last week than we did the exact same week a year ago. The reason why inventory is increasing at a pretty substantial rate is because the pendings are going down. There's the demand destruction. Even when inventory levels remain the same as far as new listings, if the pendings are down by 34%, I mean, look at these numbers. So let me go back and clear all this out. If I go to the start of May, let me just highlight everything start of May. We're looking at an average demand drop of 28.5%. But are these numbers escalating or decreasing? Well, they're escalating. right? So let me just go ahead and just insert a quick little graph right there, and you can see, all right, here's the pending. So every week, here's the pending. So drop in pending compared to the same time last year. This is the drop in pending. Isn't that amazing? So, I mean, let's even just increase this a little bit more. Look at that. This is when everything changed right here, back towards February. Look at the pending difference. This is same week last year. 10% drop, 20% drop, goes up 20%, then down to 30. Now down to close to 50% drop. Now we know that pendings are going to increase. The week has not ended, and agents are horrible about updating pending. So this number right here, the 248, this is going to change. This will land close to the upper threes. That's what's going to happen. But still, the demand is dropping. We had a little bit of a bump right here, July 25th to August 1st. That went up to 0.75, but now we're back to the 0.67. This is a locked week. And then so far this week, 0.61. Let's update the monthly really quick, and then from here, I'll print this as a PDF and we can take a look at the graph. So give me 1 second. Let's update the monthly. That's going to give us really good context for the entire month. New listings so far this month, 2,151. Price increases so far this month, 261. Price drops, 3,358 price drops. There's that 93%. That's holding steady. 2 months in a row, we're looking at 93%. Let's look at back on the market. 468, 468. 22% back on the market. Let's look at active under contract. We're looking at the ratios. Most important thing, the ratios. 1,016 pending, 587. Wow. And there's that ratio. So we've got 2 months in a row right around that 0.61 ratio. So June 0.58, 0.61, 0.61. Let's take a look at closed. Closed, we're looking at 1,215. Withdrawn, 384. Expired, 60. 60 expired. Look how many withdrawns. 384 so far. Last month, we had 716 withdrawn listings. That was a one-year record high. So far this month, it looks like we're going to exceed that number. A lot of properties are withdrawn towards the end of the month when they realize that they haven't sold. So it looks like we're going to beat that 716. Let me go ahead and just print all of this right here really quick as a PDF so that you can see everything together. Give me 1 second and then we'll talk about what this means for us. Let's go here to downloads and let's open this up here really quick for you all. Okay, so there we have it. Let me increase this a little bit so you can see the entire thing. Okay, so there we have it. So there we've got that 0.61, and let me show you some graphs right here. So there we go. There are the graphs that we were looking at that we want to look at, and we can see that we are right on this ratio between that 0.5 and 0.75. And as you know, 0.5 to 0.75 gives us what? Right? That, tangible increase in inventory. And that's exactly what we're noticing is that every week we've got 500 more listings, 450 to 550. That's about the average that we're experiencing right now. And there's that tangible increase in inventory. And we can see from the start of the year, we hit that 0.75, come back down, hit that 0.75, come back down. So there's that tangible increase in inventory. The red are the number of pending properties, red number of pending properties. And you can see that pending properties right now, since the beginning of, April, May timeframe, down by quite a bit. That's the number of pending properties. The yellow, the difference between active and pending properties. Anything above this dotted line means an increase in inventory. That's exactly what we're experiencing, an increase in inventory. Let's take a look at the price drops, and we can see record high territory on price drops. Open house right there dropped from the previous record high. But I want to show you this one right here. So we've got 0.58 and we've got 0.61 and 0.61. And we can see when we look at that historically, there we have it. So we're back to the 2010 time frame when you see demand. See that? Back to 2010. This graph right here shows us exactly what the market is like, and that's what we're noticing, an increase in inventory. Take a look at this one, 0.58, 0.61, 0.61. So we're not noticing this trend reversing itself. In the big unknown, I don't predict the future, I just discern the past. But the big question is, and we all know this, is this right here is this a momentary pause, or is this the start of this? All right, so what is it? Is this going to reverse itself out of nowhere, or is this the start of something bigger? You know where I fall in. You know what camp I fall in. There's no reason to believe that this right here is not the start of something bigger. I'm absolutely convinced, especially seeing what builders are doing, especially now seeing the price drops that builders are putting in place. Because now, as those deals close, which is great for our clients, if our clients can get a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 price drop in comparison to what someone purchased back in March, April, May, how is that a good thing for the buyer? Well, but if all of a sudden that property dropped by $100,000 and there's someone in that community that needs to resell their property, even if they put 20% down, what's that equity is gone overnight. Is absolutely gone. So we are going to notice a few properties that are going to enter the resale market and they don't have the equity in place for them to sell the property. Just give it about another 6 months or so. Wait until March, April next year, because that's where the comps are going to now reflect the new price range. Right now, every property is appraising. It's amazing. We have no appraisal issues in any way, shape, or form. Well, why is that? If a property closes right now in August, which comps are they using? Yeah, they're using some of these, but they're going all the way here. That appraiser's looking at all of these solds, and they're using all of these as comps. Well, what's going to happen when a property closes in December? Which comps are they going to use? They're going to use these comps. That's what they're going to use, okay? They're not going to use this comp right here that sold for $100,000 over list price. They're going to use this one that sold for $30,000 under list price, that is $30,000 under the original list price. All right, so none of this matters right here. This is all ancient history. None of that matters. All that matters come December, January, February timeframe, this is what matters. And builders are going to, that's why builders, are you noticing builders actually increasing the rate of development? They're actually building more houses. They're trying to flood inventory. Get rid of it. Just, well, we know this is going to happen. We know that this is not going to be a 1 or 2 month deal. We've got a bunch of permits that are approved. Roads have been cut. Lumber's been purchased. Contractors have been hired. Build it as fast as you can possibly build it and then offer a ton of discounts. That's what's happening. So we will notice inventory explode, increase by quite a bit. So this is the only ratio that I care about. I've been tracking this ratio for a while. This right here tells me everything I need to know about the market. And we can see 3 months in a row right around that 0.61, 0.61, 0.58. Let's take a look really quick on the new listing to pending ratio, or not the new listing to pending ratio, but the new listings for that matter. And I went ahead and updated active residential listings. It's already available on your personal subdomain, and there are, as of this morning, 10,564 active residential listings in the MLS right now. 10,564. That's an increase of 11% compared to the previous month, an increase of 1.61% compared to the previous week, and a 420% increase since the beginning of April. I mean, it was just at the beginning of August that we crossed the 10,000 active listing mark. Now we're already at 10,564. Yesterday we're at 10,600. So it'll go down a little bit and then it'll pick back up. Now let's take a look at some cities, and we can see that 51.2% of all 3,083 active properties in the Austin area have already experienced a price drop. And we can see the price drop range right there. And the number that we're noticing going up is that 5 to 10% range. That's at 16.4%. 16.4% of all active properties in the city of Austin have had a price drop ranging anywhere from 5 to 10%. Really pretty amazing. And you can see right here, so you see, look at this one. This right here is Bastrop. See how the 0 to 5% inverted from the 5 to 10%? That's what we're looking for. So one is we're noticing a higher price drop on the front end, and then we're noticing that when they drop the price 0 to 5%, it doesn't do anything. The property doesn't move at all. So then they have to do another 2.5 to 5% price drop. And now we're noticing these two numbers inverse. So in Bastrop, 39 properties, these are active. This was taken this morning. I compiled this data 10 minutes before the meeting started. 39 properties have had a price drop between 5 and 10%. Only 35 between 0 and 5%. And see how this number's going up, 22 versus 26. 15, here's another one. This is what? This is in Burnet. So the 5 to 10% is higher than the 0 to 5%. This one is exactly the same. This one is very close. This is in Cedar Park. Look how close it is. So what's going to happen next week is that this is going to invert itself. You're going to have more homes that are in the 5 to 10% price drop than the 0 to 5% price drop. And that shows us that the price drops are accelerating. They're not decelerating. They're accelerating. And you can see we've got this for every single city. And then we also have this for every single zip code. So let's go to zip code and see the number one zip code. Number one zip code is the 78717 at a staggering 73.2% of all active properties have had a price drop. Only one property has had a price increase. The rest have had a price drop. And look how close that 21 to 19 is. 19 properties in the 78717 zip code have had a price drop between 5 and 10%. Just amazing. Simply amazing. And the fact that these between the 0 to 5 are not moving, those are going to shift down into the 5 to 10%. So these are the active listings. We also updated the type of market. So in your personal subdomain, you've got access to the type of market. There are, as of this morning, 5 cities that are now in neutral market territory. Between 5 and 6.9 months of inventory, not one in the buyer's market. And then when you look at zip code, there are 11 zip codes that are now in neutral market territory. Between 5 and 5.9 months of inventory. The zip code with the largest inventory is Spicewood. Spicewood has 6.39 months of inventory, followed by Florence, followed by Liberty Hill. 6.39, followed by 6.33, followed by 6.27 months of inventory. So all this is updated for you. Let's take a look at the bond market here really quick. And Violet said, when you calculate inventory type of market and activity index, to use the same formula? I don't, Violet. I don't use the same formula. Good question. So the activity index, I simply use the average for the previous 90 days. Average for the previous 90 days, that's all I use. So what's sold over the past 90 days, divide that by 3, what's active, divided by that number, and that's what I use. On the type of market, I use a slightly more sophisticated and accurate formula. is that I take demand into consideration. So I do a weighted average between the previous month and the month before that. And what I do is I do 70% for the previous month and then 30% for the month before that. So I only go back 60 days and then I do a weighted average for the past 60 days. The reason why I do that is because it takes into account the current demand. The current demand. That's why I do that. So for me, that's the best way to get an accurate view of that is by looking at existing, what's currently happening in the past 30 days. Does that make sense? And that formula does change, by the way. So actually that formula does change. So Nicholas said, do I need to request a change in my website? If your website is not updated, it might, you know what? It might be, did you request the market report thing on top of your website? Did you at one point request that it be customized? Okay, good. So if you requested that the top of your page was updated, then what it might have done, it kind of locked in the way that menu structure for the Insight and Statistics page. So if you go to your Insight and Statistics, that means it was locked in from the day that you requested that custom work. Really simple for them to change that. I can just make that request. Send me an email, Nick, and just say, hey, I want my Insights page to match. Because whenever you do custom work, like they're assuming like, okay, well, you're now custom, so it's going to look the same. So if you want your Insight and Statistics to match the team price one, which you should want that because it's got the latest and greatest, the data will still match. But just send me an email and I will send over to them. We had one more person where that happened to, and they can do it in 10 minutes.
And I could send it over to them right now.
Yeah.
Do you have to do it or?
No. You can do a support@closehack.com,
Yeah.
right? Just send it over to them and say, hey, my Insight Statistics needs to match team price. You can see me on it. I want to make sure that they're taking good care of you all, and they'll do that.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, and anyone else, if you go to your Insight and Statistics page and it does not look like this, and it doesn't look like this, it doesn't have like the active listings, new listing to pending. If it looks where the appreciation is the first one, that means that when you updated your website, it kind of locked in with the old profile. Send me an email if you don't want to do it. If you want to do it, just send support@closehack.com. They'll update it in 2 seconds. So thank you for bringing that up, Nick. Super appreciate that. So here's the bond market. We had an improvement on the bond market. And when the bond market improves, does that mean we've got good economic news or bad economic news? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Bingo, Sonia. Look at you, Sonia. It's almost like you faithfully attend these meetings.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Yeah, we've got some bad economic news on the horizon. When bad economic news happens, it strengthens the bond market because it's viewed as a safe asset. The Fed can't default on itself when they control the printing press. You're going to get your money back. So that's just a fact. And we can see an improvement in the bond market. Now, a lot happened overnight in the opposite side of the world. China just dropped a economic bomb overnight. And what was that? China cut their overnight lending rate. And here's some of the news. China unexpectedly cuts 2 key rates. Withdraws. Oh, nothing to show here. Oh my goodness. Maybe the CCP kind of got into my computer and they're like, don't be showing this type of stuff. I'm going to show anyway. China unexpectedly cuts 2 key rates, withdraws cash from banking system. Now, if you've been following international news, it is shocking. Well, really not shocking. It's unfortunate. It's really not shocking in my opinion, but it's unfortunate what's happening. I mean, we've got, protests that are happening, people wanting to get money out of the bank and the bank doesn't have money. They also converted a lot of savings accounts into investment accounts without people realizing. So now they have no protection and they're cracking down on protests pretty bad. On top of that, you've got a movement going on in China right now where a lot of people are saying, I'm not going to make my mortgage payment because, and correct me, Boya, if I'm wrong, you obviously know about this way more than I do. I just read a vast treasure trove of articles and try to see which one is truth and which one is not. But it is very common for folks to start making your mortgage payment before the property is completed, right? So you purchase the property, start making your payments as it gets completed. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Boya. And some of these projects are like, they're not going to be completed. They're not going to be completed. You take Evergrande or a lot of these mega developers, some of these projects are done. So people are like, I'm not going to make my payment. Forget this. Why am I going to pay on a project that's never going to be completed? So a lot going on right there. Mike said could be flex over Taiwan conflict. Without a doubt, a lot of stuff going on there. And the main reason why China reduced their overnight lending rate and some key rates is because, man, their data that came out was horrible. China shocks with rate cut as data show alarming slowdown. And let me scroll down. This is a really good article. You're welcome to read it. But take a look at this. Industrial production, 3.8%, estimated 4.3%. Retail sales, 2.7%, estimated 4.9%. Fixed asset, except for rural, 5.7%, estimated 6.2%. And here's some of the other ones right here. Pretty shocking. Now, unemployment rate actually fell to 5.4%, but the youth unemployment rate hit a record 20%. Isn't that amazing? So their economy is slowing down quite dramatically. And here's the thing. These are the numbers that they report. I don't even believe half the number. It's got to be 10 times worse than whatever they report. That's just my opinion on it. But their quote-unquote official reporting numbers were brutal and pretty catastrophic. So what do? They cut the rates. Now, isn't that what we've been saying is going to happen here with our central bank, with our Fed? That if for some reason the economy shows any sign of sustained and protracted slowdown, that the Fed is going to reverse course, that they're going to say, the heck with inflation. We'll just redefine that for that matter. And we will pause the rate increase. We're just going to allow inflation to run its course. And we are going to focus on the recession. So China did that. There's no reason why we wouldn't do that. There's a 30-year history of us doing that. You know, Greenspan ushered a whole new era of monetary fiscal policy in America, and we are now in the forever quantitative easement game, lowering rates, propping up investments, and that is all why the bond market dropped, right? It's just this, okay, we've got a lot of news that's happening here that is not favorable for the economy, and it's also happening overseas. So, Boya, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Everything you said is right. So if the official number from the Chinese government is 1% down, it could be like 10 times worse than this. Definitely. I mean, the business is really, I think it's over, not like even going down. I mean, my brother, he does the commercial real estate in Shanghai. Right now, no business.
Wow.
And all the business at airport. I mean, there are 2 airports in Shanghai. One is the big one. The other is small one. The small one is still like the one in Austin. So all the stores have been closed. 82 days lockdown in Shanghai. I mean, just imagine lockdown in New York for 82 days. Everything just gone. Everything's gone. And my friends, some of them, those who have money, they are leaving China. I mean, many of them. They're trying to, oh my God, they stay at the airport for 7-8 days, camping at the airport. If there's a flight, they're going to leave.
Wow.
Terrible. It's chaos. Anyway.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Absolutely, horrible what's happening. Absolutely horrible. Oliver's got a question. I don't know if you're able to speak into that, boy. If you have any opinion on that, then we certainly welcome yours and Kong. The two of you know more about that side of the world than certainly I do. So any thoughts that y'all have on the China-Taiwan, whether or not China will invade Taiwan, that'd be an interesting perspective that the two of you have. But I view China as a let's just say, as a intellectual property theft. Not what kind of word am I trying to use here? They're excellent at intellectual property theft, absolutely excellent at it. Their military, in my opinion, once again, if you have any input into that, I'd love to hear. In my opinion, their military is garbage. In my opinion, they've got a lot of people without a doubt, but as far as like military equipment and all that, so no, I don't see them being a threat right now. Maybe 20 years from now, maybe 30 years from now, but right now, absolutely not even close, in my opinion. What they are, they're excellent.
The army, yeah, you're right. Absolutely, the army is just totally garbage. Just look at the shoes, the shoes the soldier they're wearing. Those are crappy $1 shoes. Okay, it's not gonna last like 3 days if you get into the mud, if you get into anywhere. I mean, there's no way they can invade Taiwan. They're just harass them. I mean, every time. I mean, if someone wants to visit Taiwan, they're gonna harass U.S. and then after Pelosi really visits Taiwan, there's nothing. They didn't invade Taiwan, so they're just paper tiger.
I agree. Kong, what are your thoughts?
It's my understanding that last year President Xi ordered the military to prepare to invade Taiwan, and the military commanders said no. They said we'll die to defend China, but we don't want to die on a foreign soil.
Wow. And these are high-level CCP members, right? So these are not, these are high-level CCP. It's like, hey, buddy, we'll take you down if you don't agree with this.
Yeah, but now I think he would be anxious to divert attention to some other issue rather than the economy. So that there's pressure on him, so as a way to divert his troubles, attention from his troubles, it's a possibility they might. So.
Oh, that's that's an interesting strategy. Like get the mind off of the economy and war certainly does that. Now, Rob brings up a really good point right there, which is one of their biggest problems that they don't have the most important natural resource to wage war, oil. It's a very good point. Very good point. Mark said China's military tech largely based on Russian military tech, and see how that's working in Ukraine. Yeah, those are very good points. Yeah, it's, in my opinion, not a threat. They're masterful marketers, and they're masterful manipulators of Western media. That I will give the CCP credit for all day long. They know how to manipulate Western media better than anyone else in the world. Otherwise, it's just all marketing. That's what it is. But they're darn good at that. I'll say that much. Phenomenal. So all of that, and what happens in China affects us 100%. And this affects us because this indeed does point towards more of a global slowdown, and that's what's happening. There is a global slowdown going on. And we can see here in the data this morning, take a look at the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. The previous was 11.1. The forecast was 5.5. So they're like, okay, you know what? Let's just cut the manufacturing index by half. We think there's going to be a drop of 50% on manufacturing for the entire Northeast New York section. Just let that actual number sink in a little bit, right? So if it would have come in at 4, it would have been like, oh my gosh, they missed a forecast that was half. No, it didn't come in at 4. It came in at negative 31.3. That's not a slowdown, you all. Let's take a look at the chart. That's not a slowdown. That's a, all right, let's just see the chart. All right. There you go. Let's go to Max right here. So apart from the virus, this is and keep in mind, the last time this slowed down by this much was already 3 years into the last recession. Like the last slowdown was like negative 21 points when it started the last recession. This was negative 31 points just out of nowhere, just immediately, just an absolute bingo. Jen said right, screeching halt. Now, is it sustained? Let's sure hope not, right? I don't want to be right on this stuff. And when there's a slow, and look at the market, it's amazing. Market's up. Why is the market up? Right? Makes no sense. Manufacturing is absolutely plummeting. Look at builder confidence, housing market index, National Association of Home Builder Housing Market Index. Under 50 means a contraction. So this is in full contraction mode right here. Right? Over 50 indicates a favorable. Under 50 indicates a negative view. And look where we are right now. We're under 50 right now. So let's go back and do Max. And we're under 50. The last time, apart from the actual COVID, the last time we dropped under 50 was when? Was January of 2006. Well, that led to a protracted and a multi-year correction in the housing market. And look what's happening here over the past year. It peaks and we're now dropping. We're now under 50. Now, I can't think of a single piece of data that says that this number is going to go above 50 in the next few months. Because we know what's happening. We just talked about the new construction. We're just talking about sales reps saying, bring me a contract, no matter what, bring me a contract. So this number is going to go down. We know this number is going to go down. Mike said, what factors are affecting leasing market? A decrease in sales means more people are leasing right now. So would an increase in sales cause the renting market to slow? What would it take for apartments to go back to offering 100% commission again, in your opinion? Well, there's certainly a correlation between the sales market and the leasing market. When the last recession hit, Mike, we had a stronger leasing market than we do now, because obviously if someone can't buy a house, then they're left leasing a house. And what's happening now, and what will continue to happen for the next 6 months to a year, Mike, is that people still have equity. Now, they don't have the equity that they wish they had, meaning if they would have sold, let's just say you bought a house in 2019, 2018, and you sold that property February of this year. Well, you cashed out on $200,000 to $300,000 worth of equity. Well, right now you're not cashing out on $300,000 worth of equity. Maybe you're getting $185,000, maybe you're getting $200,000. And we've had that happen even now, where team price agents are like, Dan, if we would have listed this in February, we would have sold it for $150,000 more. Well, that is equity that disappeared from February until August. Gone, $150,000. Just like that. Well, they still have $150,000 cash. So they can still rent a nice place. They can go still rent a $2,500 a month, nice place. They've got plenty of money to rent, and they're going to ride that out. So the demand for rental over the next 6 months or so will absolutely increase. It's increasing. It'll continue to increase. There's still equity that's being flushed out of the market. The only thing, Mike, that's going to affect rentals, it's employment. So rentals are only going to start going down if evictions skyrocket because of unemployment. We're not there. Hopefully we'll never be there, but I'm going to use we're not there yet. Employment is always a lagging indicator, always a lagging indicator. And that lagging indicator is not going to play out until months from now. So when we start noticing a substantial decrease in job, the weekly unemployment numbers, they always are worse than expectation, but unemployment is still super low, very, very low, especially in the Austin area, especially in Texas. So as far as employment is concerned, we're in the best state as far as unemployment, number one state in the country, as far as jobs created over the past year, and we're in the best city in the best state. So I don't see them offering back to 100% until their 25,000 to 28,000 housing units come on the market in the next 365 days. So you're looking at probably a good year from now because employment is such a lagging indicator. So does that answer your question? And we can see right here, we've got the 6-month bill auction a little bit better than expected, but here we've got the housing market. So these two, I mean, this is unbelievable. When I saw this number, I couldn't believe. I was glad I was sitting down. Tomorrow we've got housing permits. We're expecting that to be pulled back a little bit. Builders are trying to revoke permits as fast as they possibly can. They're trying to stop anything that they absolutely do not have to build. They're not wanting to build. And anything that they currently have on the pipeline, obviously they want to get rid of. We've got some capacity utilization. Productivity, as a matter of fact, last week went down. Let me see if I can find an article. Productivity went down. Let's just see right here. Yeah, right here. Productivity went down so this was went down most. Now this is back from May, so that's an old headline. Yeah, U.S. labor productivity down 2.5% last year. Let's just see right here. There we go. A recent Labor Department report reveals that labor productivity fell at a 4.6% annual rate in Q2, which followed a 7.7% drop in Q1. Over the last year, productivity is down 2.5%. Which is the lowest it has ever been going back to 1948. So if productivity is down, the lowest level since they started keeping track of data in 1948, employment follows. Right? So like, hey, if we no longer have this productivity to keep the payroll, guess what's next? So either productivity increases or layoffs begin. So we've got a window right here. And everyone is like, oh, okay, maybe this is a one-off, right? So that happened with the negative GDP numbers. This was a one-off. Oh, then we had 2 negative GDP numbers. Well, that's, we still have good employment. Okay, great. That's fine. Let's not call it a recession. I'll play the game. But if this keeps on happening, then unemployment is next. Once a builder has a permit and green light to go, how long does he have to start the build? Well, good question, Kong. So that's going to be based on each municipality is going to have their own set of rules on how long they have before that permit is going to expire or close off. I don't know in the city of Austin. I can certainly ask Felipe what the rules are in this general area, but it's going to be set by each municipality. I know that some of them have upwards of a year to go from a permit being issued to a housing start. A housing start is when they form the boards and the foundation. And oftentimes what they'll do when they're approaching that deadline, they'll just put the form boards there. And then they'll delay the concrete pour. So they'll delay the construction for 2 years, even though they can do it in 3 months, but they're just buying time. That's not what they're doing right now. They were doing that because prices were going up. That is not what they're doing right now. Right now, they're wanting to build as fast as humanly as they possibly can because they're on the hook for those lots. They've got to pay that developer back. The builder buys the lots from the developer. They got to pay those lots back, and they've got money tied up, and they want to sell those properties as ASAP. And we're going to start seeing some pretty substantial new construction fire sales. It's going to start happening. And Open Door, in my opinion, right now is a leading indicator on the market, and we're seeing some of their price drops are huge or absolutely massive. So we've got Wednesday retail sales. That's really big for us to know for the economy. And then we've got the FOMC is meeting. They're going to be doing their meeting minutes. Got 20-year bond auction. And then we've got some job numbers on Thursday. Lots from Philly. That's important. Existing home sales. That's going to be huge. And then nothing really going on Friday. So it's a little bit of an up and down week as far as economic data is concerned. It didn't start on the positive note for the economy. But if it's not positive for the economy, it's positive in the bond market. Right now, we're looking at rates 5.375 to 5.5. This little drop from Friday to today, this is only a 5.8 basis point drop. Let me see if we got some repricing going on. It's not going to. We got one lender that's already repriced. So, that's something to be on the lookout for. And let's just see. So rates are not going to reprice until it hits right around this 2.713. So it needs to drop another, what is that? 2.753. So another 5 basis points. It needs to drop a good another 5 basis points for it to hit a repricing level. It's stabilized since the beginning of the market. We had this big drop right here, and then it's stabilized. We'll see until the day ends. Nothing's going to happen between now and the end of the day. Yeah, capital inflow out, and none of that really matters as far as the economy is concerned, as far as rates are concerned for that matter. So U.S. foreign buying T-bonds, this is a big deal. So this is going to happen at 3 o'clock. How many Treasury bonds, who's buying Treasury bonds? If that comes in a lot lower, then we could see a little spike in the bond market, but not enough to affect rates. So super comfortable saying that rates right now 5.375 to 5.5, not seeing anything that's going to affect that between now. It'll bounce back and forth. Let's see next week. What's going on next week? New home sales, durable. Okay, so this one is big right there. GDP, August 25th. Got some GDP numbers, August 25th. We've got some PCE. Purchaser consumption expenditure, personal consumption expenditure, personal income. So yeah, next week's the big week. This week, not so much. Well, you all, it is 11:05. That's all I have. What are your thoughts? Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, complaints? Broker Q&A tomorrow, 10 a.m. Then we've got training, module number 3, working with sellers, Wednesday. No meeting Friday. No meeting Thursday. We are having a meeting Friday over Zoom. We are not having a meeting at Labor Day? Is it Labor Day at the end of the month or beginning of September? When is Labor Day? Is it Labor Day? Yes, September 5th. So we are not having a meeting Monday, September 5th, and then the preceding Friday. Previous Friday, we're not having a meeting. So when is that? Let me take a look at the calendar right here. The 29th. So we are having a meeting this next Friday. We are not having a meeting Friday the 29th. Not having a meeting Friday the 29th. Because I'm going to be in Dallas. I'm going to be in Dallas, you all. Friday the 29th. Y'all can join me if you want to. I'll send you the schedule. Friday the 29th of this month. Friday the 29th. So, there we go. Yeah, y'all, you know what? I'm going to do this, y'all, because y'all are like so amazing. I'm going to show you the schedule. So, not that I've got a lot going on. Let me go ahead and increase this a little bit. So let's take a look at it here. Let's see. Let me increase this a little bit. I didn't want to increase it that much. Right here. So, yeah. So we've got, what day is today? Today is the 15th. We got practice. We got team meeting. We got practice. And then look at the next week. All right. Monday practice, and then practice on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Dallas, Friday, Dallas, Saturday, then next, Dallas, Sunday, Dallas, Monday. So It's a little bit packed. So yeah, I'll be in Dallas. It's called a leveling tournament. So still available. Phone calls, anything for that matter, but no meeting on, 2nd and the 5th because of Labor Day. Labor Day, extended Labor Day weekend, you all. Parades, barbecues, celebrating the labor of people. Got to celebrate that. So, yeah, Labor Day, federal holiday, celebrated first Monday of September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements of the United States. 3-day weekend falls on Labor Day weekend, beginning in the late 19th century. So there you have it. More than 80 countries celebrate Labor Day. May Day was chosen by the Second International of Socialist and Communist Parties to commemorate the Haymarket Affair, which occurred in Chicago on May 4th, 1886. Look at that. I had no idea. Had no idea the origins of Labor Day. So, September of 1882. Christina wrote a paper on that. I wrote no papers in high school. I wrote very few papers in high school. Unfortunately. I just saved all my brain power for later in life. Yes, the Haymarket. I do know about the Haymarket Affair. So that was a horrible, horrible massacre that happened. 1886. Yeah, so pretty bad. I do remember that. I did study that. There we go. Yep. So yeah, so that's why no meeting on the 2nd, no meeting on Monday. But otherwise, everything good. Everything's good. Anything else? Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, complaints? Let's all thank Rob for joining us. Thank you, Rob, so much for joining us. Super appreciate it. We do this every Monday morning, Rob. Monday morning is the Monday Morning Touch Point. We talk about some leading market indicators, what's going on with inventory, what's going on with the market, interest rates, weeks that may affect the market. Tuesday, broker Q&A. Folks can send over questions. I already have like 4 or 5 questions to discuss over broker Q&A. Be sure to join us. Then we've got training every Wednesday. Every other Wednesday, we do a contract training. This Wednesday, we're going to do module number 3, working with sellers. Then we've got a meeting every Friday. Second Friday of the month, we do a live meeting, which, by the way, it was awesome. I loved seeing you all. I think I'm going to stop doing the Zoom meetings on the live Friday meetings. What do you think? I think I'm going to stop doing the Zoom meetings. I think we'll get more people. We had a ton of people here Friday. It was actually really a lot of fun. It was great. Yeah, Janita, thank you so much for coming. Violet, thank you. Oliver Hall, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. Continue Zoom. Kong, but we want to see you, Kong. We want to see you Friday. It's only one Friday a month. Second Friday of the month.
That's why I go on. I put my mug on the picture here so you can see me. I'm still here.
No, but Zoom doesn't have the scratch and sniff. I don't know what you smell like, Kong. It's like.
Are you saying I smell?
It's great. You smell fantastic. I miss that. Kristen, moving your son to college on Friday. Oh, look at that. Moving. Yeah, that's a big milestone right there. Big milestone. Yeah, this weekend we were talking about Talitha and Gail are going to be moving to Dallas in 2 years. So we were talking about that. It's like, oh gosh, 2 years from now, they're moving to Dallas. Isn't that crazy? Harold, more in-office meetings. Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? Maybe we should increase that to every other Friday. What do you think? Let's do a poll. Should we do live meetings every other Friday? We'll continue doing it over Zoom. We'll always do it over Zoom. It worked out really well. This time around over Zoom worked out really well. Okay, Melanie said yes. Mark said yes. Ava said absolutely. Wait, Sonia's like, no. Okay, we're not doing it. If Sonia would have said yes, I would have done it. Y'all, I want to do it. I want nothing more than to do it. But because Sonia said no, we're not doing it. Bottom line, decision made. If you have any questions, you talk to Sonia about that. But we would also do it over Zoom. So even if you want to stay home, you can still stay home. Yeah, Melanie's like, I don't know where you live, Sonia. Payback. Yeah, that's it. Y'all, I've been working on Talitha's YouTube channel. But before I show you, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording on 3, 2, and 1.